And we're live, everybody. Between Two Wheels podcast. Today we are doing stage 16, Liencres Playa to Bejes, 120.1 kilometers. And boy, do we have some drama today. Look, Sepkus is my guy. But with that in mind, are we going to throw out all team tactics? Look, if you have a friend, maybe your wife has a hangnail or something like that, and you want to ride in their honor, today is the day. Today is the day for you. Coming up.
Even Chris Froome had no response to Alberto Contador today. For the last couple of years, he's looked a shadow of himself, but Contador has shone on this Vuelta, and finally he takes the stage victory.
It's about how much time Richard Carapaz can take. What is the gap going to be? He crosses it at 2:34. So Primož Roglic now has got 45 seconds to get there. Primož Roglic saves La Vuelta by around 19-20 seconds.
21%, it really is a hurt zone this. Nibali hits it once again. Now can he? Don't forget, he's just got to find 3 seconds here. 4 if he can. Away and Nibali goes once more in the cloud. Oh, it's almost reminiscent of his job on the Giro d'Italia. Out almost the camera, and has Nibali been taken out here as well?
No,
I don't think there was any contact with anybody. It's just gone pop. Here is Horner. What a performance by this man. As we say, 20 years separating the man who's won the stage and the man who quite possibly has just won the Vuelta. 200 metres. This is going to feel like party time. And the grimace turns into a huge grin. And the clock, watch it when he crosses the line, because this is the crucial timings. He gets the bonus as well, don't forget. There is Chris Horner. Has he just done it for the old guard?
Between Two Wheels podcast. This is Tyler. Welcome, everybody. Stage 16. We've got. I'm kind of flummoxed. Had to get over my emotions first of all from the stage. Then we'll talk about it. Maybe break some tactics down and see where everyone is at on this one. So this was just not too long of a stage. It was 120 kilometers, 120.1 kilometers with a kicker at the end, and it was a little bit more of a steep. It had some steep ramps in it, but it was, as Sepp said, it's not his type of climb, which we know. This was built for Roglic and or Remco. Remember Remco, after his win the other day on Sunday, he said, hey, I've got 2 days of rest. Now, do you believe him or not? But he said 2 days of rest, which meant he gets the rest day on Monday, and then he's going to take the day off on today. And he did. Remco did not feature in this scenario at all. I thought maybe we should look at the GC before we go any further. Maybe we take a look at the going into today, what the results were. Let me see if I can find this here. Okay, sorry. I didn't really have this one ready. Okay, so let's add this up to the screen. Add to stage. There we go. Okay, so maybe you can see that there. There is, that's the Rui Costa win. Okay, Sepkus, once again, 137. To Roglic, 144, almost 2 minutes. To Vingegaard, Ayuso, 237, 306 to Moss, 310 to Soler, 412 to Landa, Vlasov down there, no flag on his thing, remember, because he's Russian and we can't do that. 502, Utrebex at 530, Almeida at 839. So we've talked about this before, and where Vingegaard pretty much, he's inside a minute there to Ayuso. Okay, maybe a little concerned about that. He's just, less than 10 seconds to Roglic, but he's 144 to Sepkus, and he's also almost about 140-ish over there to Enric Mas. So, does he need to really be worried about this? Do you go for this, the team? What are you doing here going into today's stage? And with that in mind, we will find out. Now, look, I had said with the advantage that the team has, what you don't need to do is
nothing more powerful.
Easy there. We're remove this from the screen. What you don't need to do is actually do anything but play defensive. So I figured that you just would have to play defensive, because what you haven't seen is the only people that are dropping Sepp or Roglic, not even him, is Vingegaard, actually. And maybe Remco would have if he's in the mix of it. So you really don't have any of this threat. So then there's this team dynamic, and if you just say Sepp Kuss with almost 2-minute lead on his 1.5, almost 1:45 on his teammates, is he considered the team leader? And I would say yes, he is, especially with his climbing prowess. So you protect your cushions there, but do you really do anything to put him into trouble and to lessen the fact that you may actually not get 3 guys on the podium? So the whole Chris Horner, and I am interested to see Chris Horner's take on this later today, which is the whole thing you have is you never leave your team leader. Unless you're sending someone up the road, maybe you're going to gap up to him. But that's not really what we saw today. So, this goes, it had a little kind of flat, but it was rolling. It was on, that's great. It was along the coast. First thing we hear about this morning is Nathan Van Hooydonk, rider for Jumbo. He got in some sort of car accident. What I read was he was sick. He was driving with his wife. She's pregnant. He was sick. Something happened, and then he gets in a car accident, and they're immediately saying, "Oh, it's an induced coma, and it's a pretty bad deal." Evidently, he's Jonas's best friend. So you know how things work from there. But that's kind of the initial thing at the start. Everyone's on trainers going. There is the outline going along the coast from Liencres, I don't know how to say it, to Playa to Bejes, up to the climb there as you start just going inland a bit here in the Asturias Mountains. There's the full profile as we see it, and it was a little rainy today. I was a little worried that there might be some issues. There's a little bit of a group up the front. They didn't like that. It comes back. Ineos chases it, comes back, and for the most part, what you really have is guys trying to get up the front. Caden Groves gets off the front here in a group, but really he's going for the sprint points because he's got this now concerned about about Remco maybe eating into his lead on the sprint points. So Cataneo up there for Soudal Quickstep, and Vandenberg for EF, and some Prudhomme, Pole, the Brit for DSM. They go to the sprint point, gorgeous area, and Caden Groves gets it without a problem. He then sits up, which really dooms the field as far as the break goes, because Jumbo then decides, we're going to go all in on this, and they start doing some pulling. Now, it wasn't a long stage, and after all this break work had happened, it was really about half the stage, about 60 kilometers that Jumbo was probably even on the front, and they're looking pretty good as far as everyone up there. Now, De La Cruz takes a tumble in the back. He's the only one that I really saw go down today. He ended up going across the finish line, so all good for him. The break is caught with 10 to go, and they are going up through these mountains. They take this left-hand turn and immediately hit into the steep portions of the climb. You can see a movie star rider here at the front. Jumbo Tratnik just had pulled off. Then you've got the other rider, Attila Valter here, and Sepp Kuss, and then the other riders for Jumbo. Immediately they're taking off up the climb, and it's looking pretty good. But one thing you notice right away is now we're thinned out a little bit here, right? Where they have 8 riders on the team. Usually you have the one GC rider, and then you have your guys around him. Since they have 3 guys that they're literally protecting here, kind of. I mean, Sepp's not having to do any pulling like he normally does. You've got Attila Valter. He's on the bottom of the climb at 4.5 to go. And now you're just like, okay, well, who's going to do some work here? And he's obviously can't go the full distance. I mean, he's been riding really well, but he's just not going to be able to do that. So you immediately see Jonas here. And I'm like, okay, well, if they're going to play the cards where they just ride, and they could do this, by the way, the 3 of them could probably ride, and the way Jonas is maybe riding, and perhaps ride everyone off their wheels. I don't know. That might be a good thing to do. And they would be able to somewhat drop everybody here. Perhaps. I don't know if that's the case. The point is, you knew something was up because Jonas was up here at the front. 3.9. He's on the radio, by the way, a little bit before this. And he takes off. Now, immediately, Sepp just kind of sits there. He can't really chase his teammate. It's all fine and good, but no one else goes past him. And this is, to me, the crux of the problem that you're having with a Sepp Kuss as a team leader, which is he can't chase. He's now dictated by tactics. Now, he is the only one that seems to be dictated by tactics. The other 2, I'm not sure that they really give a crap about tactics for the most part, right? Sepp Kuss, and everyone will say this, Sepp Kuss is not the leader. He just happens to be in this because he got up the road. Well, yeah, he got up the road, and he was been holding himself, and he's a wonderful climber, so he's in this position. You want him to just sit up and drift back or not fight for this overall. So since he has a minute and a half, a minute 45 on his 2 team leaders, you can't falter him for being in the lead and riding like a leader. Now, you don't necessarily sacrifice Vingegaard and Roglic either, since you're in this amazing vaunted position of having three guys in 1, 2, 3. You don't necessarily sacrifice them to help Sepp either, do you? I mean, I don't know. It's a bit of it depends on who's riding. So they are taking this tactic of who's riding the strongest. My problem with this move by Jumbo here is you are now essentially, Vingegaard is going to go up the road and he's going to probably take the win. And is he going to take the red jersey? I mean, he's really fighting to do so. So you're not really helping your team out here. And matter of fact, you're pitting him against you because he's not going to be able to attack and go up the road and follow you. He did on the Tourmalet, but that was maybe Sepp just doesn't have that kind of riding. So this is a perfect stage for someone else to kind of take advantage of him. But you also don't want to lose his position on the front for other people. Point is, Ian Fisher-Black of UAE goes up the road. This turns into be what I consider maybe worse team tactics than what Jumbo plays here, because I'm not a fan of actually what Jumbo did today, even though it's because this guy's not on the top 10 for UAE. He gets a break up the road and he's moving, and at no time does he then come back to help his teammates, Ayuso and or Soler. The group just kind of stalemates. I mean, they're across the road, they're kind of moving. You got Vlasov. The group is big enough where you've even got the little Trek rider. Let's take a look here because I'm gonna forget his name unless I do so. And he's a rider that we know well. And where is he here? Little Trek. You guys, Baka Mollema. I didn't even find him on there. I just remembered Baka Mollema. Baka Mollema, he's a good climber and all, but he's going so slow that he's able to attack. Now you've got about 1:16 here with 1.1 kilometers to go. Finally, João Almeida decides that he's going to start picking up the pace and going here. I mean, it's a bit frustrating. Now, maybe those riders couldn't go with Jonas. He attacked, but it seems like when you've got number 3 there and you are number 2, Ayuso, and you're closer to Vingegaard than you are to obviously Sepp, or that Sepp is to Vingegaard. Actually, it's less than a minute. Why would Ayuso not try to go with him? It didn't seem, I mean, or have Almeida chase them down. Instead, you have Ian Fisher-Black trying to go up the road to catch him. Why not be helping Ayuso? That seemed, you're losing any prospect of getting into third place at all because you're 2:36 down on Sepp. Okay, now you're going to start losing time, and now you were just a few 40 seconds or so from 50 seconds from Vingegaard, and now you're losing your time to Vingegaard. So all you did here today, UAE, by the way, sending Fisher-Black up the road, not having Almeida help earlier, is you're setting yourself to just being, we're fine with 4th place and we'll fight with Enric Mas. Matter of fact, we'll hope that Roglic, Vingegaard, or Sepp Kuss just explode somehow or implode, one of those. 1.1, once again, Sepp looks fine here on the wheel. Almeida's doing his thing. Jonas is still killing it up the front. Now his gap does start to come down a bit. Remember, it was up to 1:16, and just outside of 1 kilometer to go, it says 9:29, but that's for that's for Jonas. You got Roglic back here, an attack. Now, what I had perceived Roglic to be a bit stronger than Jonas. I even thought he was perhaps a bit. And by the way, we just found out today as well that Jonas had been sick. He had taken a Dumoulin on the side of the road. Looked that up in the 2017 Giro d'Italia, and he had some stomach problems. He's obviously rebounded just fine from that, and maybe his legs are coming a little bit better. I don't know if Roglic is as strong. He wasn't able to remember that last kilometer up the Tourmalet, stage 13, Jonas is up the road. He's gone for a long time. Sepp makes an attack, and he's able to distance himself, cut down 30 seconds of Jonas's gap in the last kilometer. Roglic does attack as well, but then he's got to use Sepp as a meter to try to catch himself, and he's not really able to distance himself from Mas and Ayuso as well. So I don't know how well he's going. So he puts in an attack here, and he doesn't necessarily get anywhere. Ayuso goes after him. Sepp goes up with Ayuso. Mas goes up there. Sepp actually starts to falter a bit here. Up top, though, you got Jonas does end up getting his gap to the win. Ian Fisher-Black comes in here 43 seconds back. Once again, didn't drop back, didn't do anything he could have perhaps to help his own teammate. I think that's maybe more critical than the other side of what I'd be critical about Jumbo. You've got another rider here for, who is this? Maybe Caruso. I'll look at the full results here. Store perhaps, and then you got Ayuso coming in here, 57 seconds. Close to a minute. Ayuso, Vlasov, Moss, Roglic, and Roglic looks back, and there's a gap to Sepp. Now, at one time, we did not see, because the cameras cut away from the Sepp group, which I thought was more interesting than the Vingegaard to get his win. And when they were doing that, Roglic had distanced Sepp a bit, and he had Ayuso, Vlasov, Moss with him, and he was on the front. Next thing you know, you look back, and they're all together. Sepp's back on this wheel. And I don't know if Roglic, look, first thing I said was, Sepp had trouble today only because of his teammates, okay? I didn't feel that these other guys put him in danger. Now, I could be wrong. I could look back, if the camera had been there the whole time, perhaps Roglic, when he was on the front, dropped back a bit to make sure Sepp had come back up, and then they distanced him again at the finish. I don't know. That could have been the case, possibly, but it did get the feeling that Roglic instead was not necessarily being the best teammate. Now, in a sense, he couldn't have just gone to the group when he did attack. He couldn't have gone to the front there and just pulled either, because now you're literally pulling everybody up to Vingegaard. Okay, so that would not have been a good team tactic either. What you did see him attacking, it allows the guys to have separation, and maybe that's his way of like, hey, Sepp, let's get our go. I don't know the whole details about all these things. So for me, I'm not sure, but it did not have a good feeling, and it was very frustrating here today. Okay, so let's take a look here. Victor says, Jumbo looks like a great team. Well, they're a great, strong rider team. I'm a little suspect on. Brian says, I'm here. What did I miss? All you missed was, you're gonna have to go back and watch it. I can't go over everything for you, Brian. Other than I think UAE did not do a good job on their team stuff today. Ian Fisher-Black being up the road could have helped Ayuso more. I'm not a big fan of what Vingegaard did. Brian also says Sepp needs Justin Williams to take Roglic and Jonas to the curb. Right. So look, my emotions immediately seeing this is, look, they didn't need to do this. They could have ridden defensively. No one is going to, and perhaps even sprungboard themselves out of this situation, putting some time. All three of them might have been able to put time. Instead, they put Sepp under pressure. Roglic, when he attacked, yes, it helped separate the field a little bit and allowed Sepp to come out from there, and allowed them to ride hard to the finish, because they cut down almost 20 seconds here at the end to Vingegaard in the last kilometer. Okay, that's not bad. But did maybe Roglic doing this attacking stuff too also put Sepp in trouble? I don't know. I think overall it probably was the benefit to do that, to help get Sepp back there. Otherwise, he might not even be in red at the end of today. I'm not a fan. Okay, so look, then everyone backs up and you go, look, did Vingegaard have to do this ride on the day and take all this time? His excuse is, my buddy Nathan Van Hooydonk was in the hospital, and I did this to honor him. Okay. You also saw, remember on stage 13 up the Tourmalet, his excuse was, well, my daughter's birthday today, and so I did this to honor him. Okay, at what point is you're honoring not being part of the team tactics? You get away with that? This is what I put on Twitter today. I said, tomorrow, and this is legit, it is Sepp's birthday tomorrow. Sepp's birthday is September 13, and they're going to go up to Angliru. So tomorrow is Sepp's birthday. Jonas has declared he will honor Sepp by attacking up to Angliru to take red jersey and dedicate the victory to Sepp. That's how I feel about it. Sepp needs to have some, maybe his wife is going through some troubles. My point is, there was excuses all over the internet and with GCN. Oh, he did it because I know Nathan Van Hooydonk. Look, he's out of it. Maybe Jonas cured him by taking the win up today. But you can't throw away team tactics simply because you need to honor someone or you have something personal going on in your life. That's second nature. Now, I think that's just an excuse, and Vingegaard is up there. My problem with some of this too is people are like, oh, well, the strongest rider is winning. Sepp wasn't the team captain. Yeah, but he's in this position. Look at, and I've documented this over and over and over. There's times, 2020 as an example, Roglic wins that by 16 seconds over Carapaz, and he gets dropped on the Angliru. Sepp Kuss stays with him. Sepp Kuss might have been able to go with Carthy and win. They only lost 26 seconds that day. And Sepp kept having to slow down and pace him up, even over the top where it comes to the kind of a false flat. Before it goes down, Sepp was drilling him there. So my he might have saved the tour. Sepp has done more than just ride for them. He's helped them win stages, and he's helped them not lose things as well. So at what point is there kind of I need to pay you back? I mean, Sepp seemed perfectly fine, and with the interview at the end of the day, he said, oh, it was a great day. This is not my kind of climb. My legs feel great. He said the legs feel good. I think tomorrow is a good chance for Sepp Kuss to kind of put the whole thing to bed, right? It's more tourish. It's a climb that he's done well on. That's super steep, where a draft isn't important. And I just think that, matter of fact, I would say this is what I'm going to tell Sepp. Sepp, if Jonas attacks tomorrow, just cover it. Cover the move. Just go with him. You may get countered by Roglic, but I think you are stronger than Roglic. So if Vingegaard goes, it's a lead out. It's a lead out for you. He's doing you a favor. Just go with him, sit on his wheel, and make him look like the good teammate. If he does the same thing tomorrow that he did today, fuck you, Jonas. And I just don't think that's good. So I've already, just a tinge of me, and I would be interested to see some other, breakdowns of the race, the team tactics, that they were spot on. And yes, if you separate everything as a team, now Sepp loses. We'll just finish this up here. Sepp ends up losing 4 seconds. This was to me, this was a danger spot. Roglic is going in here. I know you're losing time to these guys, but Sepp never should have been off the wheel. Why did that happen? What's going on there? You're giving up 4 seconds to those guys. Now, Roglic also gave up a minute to Vingegaard. So that's not good either. So there you go. Sepp loses 4 seconds out there. Not such a great position. And so there it is. He's crying because his best friend was in a coma. His baby had a birthday. His wife had a hangnail. Sepp seems to be perfectly fine with it. I could be reading a lot into this. So that was Wout Poels was up there, third place. Michael Storer, Ayuso, once again coming in there. I mean, Fisher Black as an example. If you drop back and help Ayuso, you might be able to close that gap down, and maybe he even gets a time bonus. So I think UAE really shit the bed on that one today. Sepp Kuss comes in 10th place, 105 back with the red jersey. Seemed to be doing, I don't know, he seemed to be okay and happy about it. 29 seconds now to Vingegaard. Roglic at 133, loses a little bit of time there. He loses a little bit of time to Ayuso, loses a bit of time to Moss, loses a little bit of time, or he gained some time on Soler. So Soler had been, what was he? Is that right? Did we lose a little bit of time to there? Let's go back here to did I miss Soler? No, he gained some time on Soler. So I was mixing that up with Storer. So there's the overall. He gained some time on everybody, but lost some time on Ayuso, Moss, Roglic, Vingegaard. And there you go. Okay. Brian chimes in here and says, the most conservative move is to force your opponents to take the jersey while you sit in. In theory, attacking today leaves them weaker for tomorrow, which is an unnecessary risk. I agree. That was my thing, what I was saying here. And if I'm reading this right, you're saying now Vingegaard may falter because he did this big move today. Quite possibly. I mean, you put it out. Maybe you can't do it. Maybe it's like Remco, where he's like, I'm kind of tired. I personally hope that happens tomorrow. No offense, but I don't know what Sepp or Jonas might be celebrating tomorrow that he needs to honor. Maybe it's Sepp's birthday for him, and maybe he cracks. And I'm perfectly fine with that. It's really weird because I'm watching this today, and I'm somewhat emotional about it. Like, my emotions are coming out, and I'm watching this and I'm like, this just feels shitty that you would leave your team leader, you would attack, you'd go up the road. Now you're leaving him again with Roglic, and he's getting dropped, and you guys are perfectly fine with this. And I'm like, I've only been cheering for you two yahoos because Sepp is on your team. Maybe I'm not doing that anymore. Maybe you've lost me as a fan. Victor says, happy birthday to Sepp. Yes, tomorrow. Tomorrow is his birthday. God bless him. Let's look at real quick. So did I mention, so Sepp Kuss said afterwards in his interview, he said, oh yeah, he's happy. It was all great. It's good stuff. I'm feeling good. We should be looking good for tomorrow. So perhaps that is the case. There you go. Vingegaard all the way down. So where is Soler? Soler lost 123. So he lost a little bit more. And who else? Valter, some of these guys. Sean Quinn had a nice day, 158 there. Just a really interesting thing. Victor says Jumbo also forced Sepp, or Brian says also forced Sepp's hand today and showed UAE and Movistar that he can be dropped. Yes. So Brian, very good point, and it does show that, right? He can be dropped. Now, according to let's assume that Sepp Kuss is not as adept at all the politics as everyone else, and he is actually telling the truth of what he believes at the finish, and he's like perfectly happy with the team. You know, they did this. You got to take advantage. Da 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 da. And then he says tomorrow, he seemed very confident. He said his legs still felt good. I believe you've seen this with Sepp. You saw this the other day. It was when they had the shortened one. Remember, it was before the Tourmalet, and they had this shortened day where they took the time 2.05 kilometers before the finish. Sepp Kuss was getting distanced, similar type of kind of route this set. Then you go to the Tourmalet, and he brings 30 seconds back in a kilometer on Vingegaard and puts more time into the others. That was not the same Sepp Kuss as we had seen. So what I've seen with this is when you have those short, pitchy kind of climbs, he has more trouble. When he's ridden the Angliru, when he's ridden the Tourmalet, when it's more Tour de France style, he, being Sepp, does not have as much trouble as all. So while I agree with you, and look, here's what I actually hope, Brian. I hope it's given them the confidence, these other teams, to maybe attack, maybe do something instead of just sitting there. Maybe give them some opportunities when Vingegaard goes up the road. They actually try to go with him. I don't know, or is he just too amazing? You can tell I'm still a little bit pissed about all this. Let's go back to the overall. There you go. So Sepp Kuss and all these guys. Let's go to the GC. We've talked about this a bit. Roglic down there, 133. I'd like to do this time one loss. So you can see here that Jonas gets 115 on, basically 30 seconds down now. Ayuso, Mas, Roglic all get 4 seconds. Soler loses 18. Vlasov gets 4. Big deal on him. Everyone else is down. Wout Poels went up 20. Ian Fisher-Black 28. I mean, okay. He's down in 34th place. This was a bonehead move. I felt he was maybe the most boneheady. You can use excuses for the others. You can't really use excuses for Ian Fisher-Black on what he did there. Matt says, what a clown. I'm hoping you're not talking about me. But there we go. Let's look at tomorrow's stage profile. And this is the one. This is Sepp's birthday. I mean, if we've learned anything, that if your birthday or if you're riding for to honor something, that supersedes your team goals. So Sepp has every right to do whatever he wants. Now, I don't think Sepp is. I think Sepp, you've seen him in a few times. Tourmalet stage, as an example, he tries to attack when he's with Enric Mas. He just can't get that separation. He tried to attack, and he did attack on the Tourmalet, and he got separation. He got up there. It was brilliant, but he doesn't have that explosive breakaway speed that you need to sustain it that you do have with Jonas, Roglic, Remco for the most part. So yeah, it's a bit much there. Okay, I don't remember what my point was, but let's go back to the stage profile. That's what we have on tomorrow, 125 kilometers. So a relatively short stage, kind of like what we had today. But as you're going to see, they go over a Cat 1, and then HC. The 1 is, this is more Tour de France style, where it numbs the legs up. And I think that's really where Sepp Kuss comes into the fore more. But so does Jonas. The Alta de Cordal, the first one is the Cola d'Ilia. It's 6.5 at 7.9%. The next one is 5.7 at 8.5%. And then obviously the last one, 13.1 kilometers at 9.1%. Now, what's actually amazing to me when you watch the Angliru, when people crack up there or they have problems, it's almost so steep that it doesn't give almost an advantage. So, I mean, I could see Sepp winning tomorrow. I could see him doing well, maybe 20, 30 seconds. I don't see the defeat necessarily or going out of the red jersey tomorrow for Sepp Kuss, where it might happen on, the stage 18, where it's, once again, you got a Cat 1 here, 7 or so kilometers. You've got 7.4. You got a Cat 2, Cat 1, Cat 3, and then a Cat 1. And that's 8 kilometers. But it's not super pitchy. I mean, it's got some in here, and then it's whatever, 8.3 at 8.5%. So we'll say, okay. Matt says, what a clown. Then he says, more respect for him if he didn't give BS excuses. Yeah, just say, hey, I really wanted the jersey. By the way, those excuses, and I was on Lantern Rouge. I was watching their show today, and I was in the comments, and I put my my joke in there about Jonas is going to dedicate his attack tomorrow to Sepp Kuss's birthday. And got some laughs in the chat, and then one guy just was like, "Oh my goodness, his friend almost died, and I can't believe you're making jokes." And I'm like, "Not only am I making jokes, I'm going to start making jokes about his daughter's birthday." I mean, what I learned today was team tactics only apply if you don't have a friend dying or your daughter's birthday or something else. So yeah, it's a bit pitchy, dog. Exactly. All right, well that's it for today. Tune in tomorrow. Tomorrow's going to be freak off the hook. I don't know what's going to take place, but I'm going to be super excited. Maybe everybody we do a watch along? No, probably not. All right. Predictions for tomorrow. I would like to predict that you're going to have Sepp Kuss with the win. I just don't know. Today didn't instill a lot of. I'm looking for strings to pull to have a little bit of hope, because I do think, and I've gone back and looked at those climbs. The Brelage or something like that he won in the Tour de France. That's a super steep climb as well over in Andorra that he dropped Valverde on. So he does produce good. And once again, we've got one Angliru to look at in 2020, and he did just fine. 23 seconds. He lost to Hugh Carthy the whole time, babysitting Roglic up there. He's done that to Vingegaard day in and day out. It'd be nice if they just set the pace for him one time, without having to attack him. I don't know if that's going to be the case, but my predictions are, Remco's going to get in a break, and he's going to try to win this thing. Okay. The question is he going to? He said today, by the way, in his interview, Remco Evenepoel said, "I didn't go in the break. I didn't go in the break today. I didn't try on the climb because he." And they said, "Well, why is that?" And he's like, "Well, I wanted to show Jumbo that I was telling the truth when I said I wasn't taking it when I was taking a rest day, and I was like, oh, okay, because Sepp had said, I told him we can't let you go on the break every day, so he lost some more time today. Maybe we should actually look. Let's take a look here. Where did Remco go today? Stage 16. Let's do Belgium. Uterbrooks on the stage was down 113. Krast 126. Vervac 934. Where did Evenepoel 14 minutes? He took it serious. He said, listen, Jumbo, don't worry about me. Now, let me get in the break tomorrow. And I'm going to get in the break tomorrow, and then I'm going to try to win. And I think he could. So Remco's one of my picks for tomorrow. But it would have to be from the break. Otherwise, you're really looking at Sepp, Moss, maybe Ayuso, or Vingegaard. And way to really narrow it down, Tyler. I'm pulling for Sepp tomorrow. I want to say that he can actually do it. I think you're going to see Roglic lose tomorrow some time. I think Sepp is going to be up there, but I think Jonas may get like 10 seconds on Sepp and not stay with him. He's going to try to attack him. And that's going to be really shitty. And if he does, I'm going to say one more time to him. I'm going to say, fuck you, Jonas. All right. See you tomorrow. I think we'll see you tomorrow.